about all of those suggestions all at one time. Just all these what if suggestions by this guy.
I'll be honest. In my time listening to what ifs, I have compiled a list of my own,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm slowly working through and then discarding as they turn into crap. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that someone's been compiling this. Because they've been listening to what ifs for years.
Oh,
So well, they may have been listening to what ifs for years.
there we go.
Well, at least a year. Um, so yeah, no, I could totally see someone going, "Oh, what if this happened? And what if that happened?" And obviously, when you listen to one what if, you sort of pick up on little things and think about more stuff. And next
Yeah,
thing you know, you've got a massive big list.
yeah, I agree
Uh,
with
some of
you.
the some of the things he's come up with are a bit weird, but
I mean, that's why we're going to be doing this video now. So, what's up, everybody? StevDeS here. It is currently 4 o'clock in the morning, but this is the only time I could get with my buddy KaizanBall for this video, where we're going to go through one of my commenters, Tulio Pereira. If you saw the commenting video, you saw me do the thing where I sent this notepad file to him, and we just thought, this would be fun. Just go through all of these suggestions, this huge list of suggestions, and just say what we think about them. Like, if they have any legitimacy, or if, like, it's just way out there. But yeah, we're going to go through each and every one of them in this video today. So, this is going to be
hi, I'm KaizanBall, and I'll try not to be too pessimistic.
it's all right. I'm naturally an a-hole. It's the
All right.
best way to be. Just honest. All right.
Yeah,
Yep. All right, so let's kick this off with the first one on the list. What if Goku married Sano, Yamcha married Bulma, and Vegeta married number 18?
is that all in a oneer, or is that three
That was
separate
all
ones?
on one. That was just like, it was what if
Oh,
Goku married Sano, comma, what if Yamcha married Bulma, comma, and if Vegeta married number
oh,
18. So he's
I
playing
must have missed that
matchmaker
first
with
comment.
this one.
Yeah. So, well, when would Goku marry Suno
Yeah,
or Suno?
that's the big thing, because all throughout Dragon
Yeah.
Ball he never saw Sano again. Like Sano,
Yeah,
like,
he never even went back to the village.
yeah,
So,
she went, like, she had multiple scenes, and that's what confused me about Dragon Ball. Is she had multiple scenes during while King Piccolo was doing his evil thing, like, oh, I know Goku's
mhm,
gonna come and save, and he never showed up to help Sano. Like,
mhm.
he showed up to help Chi Chi and and her dad, but not
Yeah,
Sano.
yeah. Well, I think that was a clue that her days were numbered
Yeah.
in that arc anyway, until everyone got wished back because long-term consequences.
Toriyama has a habit of that.
Mhm,
That's why I did the what if Nam beat Tien Shinhan, because when Nam was beaten,
mhm.
that was just dead on. Yeah, Nam's done. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. As far as
But
Yamcha marry Bulma, that's happening in a lot of what ifs. That everybody's like,
yeah,
Yamcha needs to be with
I mean,
Bulma.
obviously, you wouldn't get future Trunks being who he is.
No, you wouldn't.
But I think quite a few people have done that.
Yep.
There's at least Quaman's done one. I've seen another one from someone else. I can't remember the name.
I know
Goku something.
I've done that in a couple of my
Um,
what ifs.
well, like as a specific what if, like what if Yamcha married Bulma?
Okay.
Um, I, they've probably done it in a few others where other things have happened and Vegeta's not there and Bulma's made do with just him.
Mhm.
I think I
Mhm.
actually did that too in What If the Spirit Bomb actually worked? Because obviously Vegeta was atomized in that one.
Oh yeah, yeah, you did. I,
So
oh man, that I thank you for reminding me about that one. I didn't even connect the dots on that one.
yeah.
Oh,
As for Vegeta marrying 18, I don't really think they have compatible personalities myself.
well,
Because 18's a bit sort of standoffish, and Vegeta's I don't care about any of this stuff anyway. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, maybe have a get together, but
I do see one thing that is a benefit in the relationship, though. Vegeta would probably get 18 into training, because I mean, like Saiyans are attracted to
Yeah,
strong women.
force her into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Saiyans are attracted to strong women, and well, I mean, being able to break both of his arms while he's a Super Saiyan, that must be a turn on for Vegeta.
Bit of a sadist. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
masochist there.
there you go.
With that pairing would be, is current Marin sort of a human hybrid, or is she all human?
Ooh,
I guess it depends on how far down Jiro went in his rebuilding thing.
yeah,
Because
that,
a Saiyan with an infinite energy engine,
Jesus,
that could be fun.
that could be really fun. That could be really fun. Of course, then that brings up the question if our canon Marin has an infinite engine going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I think I asked that in
You did.
what
I do remember. I think
time travel was the one way ticket.
yeah, you did.
Yeah. 'Cause I
Uh,
think Marble is going to be a hybrid just because I can. So whatever, do it.
yep. Okay, so the next one is what if Dr. Giro had full control over number 17, 18, and 16? Well,
Um, Obviously, everyone dies. That Jiro
yeah.
wants to be dead, and then depending on how he feels he wants to rule the Earth, it might be good for the Earth in general. It might not be so good for the Earth in general. Obviously, if Bulma can hide, then time travel is a thing.
Hmm.
But it depends on how dictatorial, whatever
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, it also depends on which saga you're talking about, because if you're talking about the Future Saga, then okay, that would make sense because Future Cell wouldn't have stolen any time machine. But if you're talking about the present, like the canon timeline that we're
Oh,
going
true.
through, Cell would still show up.
Yeah, but I assume it was the normal timeline, because who knows which is the prime and which is the alternate,
Yeah,
really. But since 16 never featured in the future timeline, this wouldn't be the future
yeah,
timeline?
16
Yeah.
was kind of a butterfly effect sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for Cell, that's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. If managed to get control over 16, 17, and 18, does he also control Cell? Has he worked out the bugs in his programming, or is Cell, his own being because he's technically fully biological, something?
Okay, here's how I see it play out. All right, so like you have Jiro, he won. He's killed everyone, right? And he's got
That he cares about, not
yeah,
everyone,
yep.
only that he cares about. Yep.
17, 18, 17 and 18 and 16 are all together, and 16 wasn't complete yet. So he would
Mm-hmm.
work on completing the project that is 16. 17 and
Mm-hmm.
18 would discover Cell in the basement, and that's when Jiro would, explain to them, this is what Cell is. Well, Cell would make the scene, future Cell, technically,
Mm-hmm.
would make the
Yeah.
scene and, say, like, I want to be perfect from these two. And
Mm-hmm.
while
So they would
Giro would
obey.
be more than happy to help him because he is a creation of Giro, I could see
Yeah.
Cell just go full on, just betray Giro and destroy everything afterwards due to the Frieza in him, and Giro would
Yeah.
just be plagued by his own creation.
Yeah. But then everyone else is already dead, so Cell's bored,
Yep, Cell gets bored and
and
travels
he blows
again.
up the Earth and goes away.
Yep.
So yeah, that's pretty much that.
Yep. So, what if the human Z Warriors used the time room? And he uses time room in capitals. I imagine he doesn't mean the room of spirit and time. He means the like time travel room to train before fighting the Saiyajins. Because there's two different rooms that people tend
It's
to.
the mystic torture chamber that Mr. Popo put everyone
Yep.
through,
Yep.
which is the room that sent them back in time.
Yep.
I think that's the one that sent Goku back in time too. So they did use that room,
Yeah. So, but I'm saying like a lot of people
the
when they say
pendulum, the
time
pendulum
room,
room.
yeah, pendulum room. That's the
Yeah,
specific one.
yeah. I think I'm pretty sure they did use the time that time room.
Hmm.
The I think he means the time chamber,
Okay.
the
Okay.
hypotonic rhyme chamber.
Okay, so the
Uh,
hyperbolic time chamber to train before fighting the Saiyans.
yeah. As for what would happen, I think we need to talk to Seth, the programmer, for all the power scaling there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Otherwise, somebody's done this already, I think.
Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of
Was
people have
it Nitro
considered this.
Storm? I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people have considered, even Team Four Star made the joke about, well, wait, this has been here the whole time. Why didn't you use it to train for this? Why didn't
Yeah.
you use it to train for the Saiyans? Like that's all that's been a
Well, I
thing.
think, yeah, I think Kami in proper canon or something, Kami was very much afraid of the room. He didn't like using it because it was so dangerous or something.
Yeah.
And then obviously it turned into a gimmick, but that's what happens.
Have you noticed it turned into a
Uh,
gimmick for just the Saiyans, and everybody's like, "What if the Earthlings did it?" I mean, like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
yep.
So the question here though is, does this include Piccolo and Gohan? Because Piccolo is not going to go anywhere near the tower, is he?
He's
So
not
only
going to.
yeah. So Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, and Chaozu go in.
Would Yajirobe
Um,
go in?
pardon?
Would Yajirobe go in? Yajirobe also trained on the lookout for the Saiyan Saga.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
there for the training, but he wasn't there for the fight until he jumped in to cut Vegeta's tail off.
all right. So we'll throw Yajirobe in there too.
Hmm.
Um, I guess you could estimate based on what they got from just a year of futzing around in the pendulum room.
Hmm.
Um, so you got like 3 or 4 people at 4,000, sorry, 10,000
Yeah,
battle power or power level.
something like that.
So Vegeta dies because they can kill him together. Nappa maybe plays with the weaklings until Vegeta's dead, and then they come along and kill him too.
Mm.
Goku shows up, everyone's dead. Well, sorry, the two Saiyans are dead. He's like, oh, well, that was a waste. And then they sit around twiddling their thumbs until Frieza shows up and takes
Yeah.
over because he got his wish and he's now immortal and everyone dies.
Yep, basically, dead scenario. Another dead
Yeah,
boy.
yeah,
What if the human Z Warriors wish to have the same power as the Saiyajins, that is, the Zenkai or similar power?
yeah.
Would
So that he wants their power, but not to actually be Saiyans,
Yeah, so they can't
because
be Super Saiyan if they're
but
not
they can get
Saiyans.
stronger.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Zenkai would actually Krillin would keep up with base form Goku a
yeah.
lot due to how
So
much he's still knocking him
it'll
out.
be. Yeah, I think they would probably also maybe be able to learn the Kaioken
That
because
also, yeah.
yeah, I mean does Kaioken is using it or recovering from it rather count as a Zenkai? Because
Um,
that's like a double base. You
I
sit there, go Kaioken,
I
wear
think
yourself out, and
that's
then
a
you get
really good
stronger.
question. That is, and that also brings up this question: if let's say that you do get a Zenkai boost from Kaioken, why the hell is Vegeta so pessimistic about it? If he knows about the Zenkai boost.
Yeah, well, they sort of used it a few times and then forgot about it after Super Saiyan came along.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
the Universe 6 tournament comes out, and Goku has to use it to keep
yeah,
up with Hit.
yeah.
So,
But I think that the main problem they had with it was that it was so damaging to you,
yeah.
whereas the Super Saiyan was so good. But as I said, if it gives you a Zenkai,
Mhm.
you could be sitting around going, hey, Kaioken times 50 or 60 or 20 or whatever number you want to pull out, and then it wrecks you.
Yep.
To have a couple days for your key to balance out or whatever it is,
Oh,
or Senju, and then boom, you're back to full health, back to Zenkai health, and rinse and repeat.
also,
So,
another thing I want to add. I'm so glad that they brought Kaioken back for the Super because we didn't see its effects in Z, and with
yeah,
Goku pushing himself like that, you see his muscles just kind of spasming all over the place, and it really affected
mhm,
him. I was like, oh wow, okay, so there is, like this is clear cut.
yeah,
This is actually devastating for the fighter. I couldn't
mhm, mhm,
imagine any of the humans going through this.
yeah, yeah. Like I think with the whole God Key thing though, the Kaioken affected his ki more than his body,
Yeah.
whereas with base or normal ki Kaioken, it was more of a body effect.
He was just fine after. It was just controlling his key that was the problem. And I thought it was hilarious. Like that entire scene.
Often,
He's just
Popped into Bulma's
dropping
bedroom,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm sure Vegeta was
Oh
very
yeah,
happy with
he was
that.
very happy with that. Oh man, his face. I don't want
Yeah.
to see your nasty boobies. Kakarot, what the hell is wrong with you? Oh gosh.
I'm sure that's not the first time you've seen them,
Hmm.
given their history.
Oh
Didn't they have
yeah,
a bath together?
yeah. Well, not only that, but like he's probably seen him when Bulma was taking a bath, and probably when Bulma was sleeping a couple of times. Because I know
Yeah.
he's like taking off Bulma's panties, and he was scared like crazy because he didn't understand the difference between a male and a female.
She's lost her balls.
No, the balls are gone, and she gets up and checks the Dragon Ball pouch. All right, moving on to the next one. We got what if the human? No, oh okay, I read that same one twice. What
Yeah.
if Yamcha, Tenshinhan, and Chaos and the Krillin had their potential unlocked by old Kaioshin?
Old Kaioshin. What, like Dai Kaioshin
Yeah,
or the Elder?
I'm guessing they mean the Elder Kai.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't really want ultimate chaos because that sounds like a terrible idea.
Oh yeah, yeah, that sounds like an awful idea. I mean, it
Yeah,
was already bad enough with 7 Chaos Emeralds. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
we know he
Uh,
hates Chaozu though.
I know, I know. The only problem there is that by that time, not a whole lot's going to change. Yeah, they're all stronger, but we don't know how much stronger. And the whole show's about the Saiyans and Goku, so eh.
Yeah, I mean, Yamcha probably would have fared better on the baseball field, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Something that always bugged me about the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, when they're doing the punch machine,
Oh
they're being
yeah.
so careful. They're being so careful, and they're just tapping it, and it's going crazy numbers. And yet, these people somehow interact with normal human beings without killing everything they touch.
Yep. Also.
Chances are they have such a high level of control, like Superman does,
Mhm.
that they can pretend to punch it and get whatever number they actually want.
Yeah, and also keep in mind those that like Earth at that point didn't know what a scouter was. I mean, Bulma
Yeah.
did, but how like if these machines were not built by Capsule Corp, I
Mhm.
don't see these machines being accurate as far as those numbers at all.
Well, it's basically a normal punch machine. When you
No.
the arcade or whatever, you punch it and it gives you a number.
Or like
It's that kind of thing.
or like those machines where
But
you swing the hammer, dings a
yeah,
bell at the top. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The only difference I think with what if they all got their potentials unlocked would be that Tien and Krillin would be a little less, would last a little longer in the Tournament of Power.
Yeah, Krillin wouldn't get just backhand slapped. Maybe he'd just hang on the edge. And,
Yeah,
yeah.
but we really have no way of knowing how strong they would be because there's no example to use
Yeah.
to base that on. So is it a 500 times multiplier? Is it a
Yeah.
product of that times the next thing raised to the fifth power? We don't know. We don't know.
What kind of gravity
So
level are they training on the World of the Kais?
exactly.
All right. What if all the great heroes of Earth killed in the past were resurrected in Dragon Ball Classic and became masters and mentors of the Z Warriors? Not much would change, I don't think, because
I think actually everything would change because just the simplest butterfly effect would just wipe out everything. All the history we know from whatever point they get resurrected at would
mm,
change because they have different masters, they'd go different ways, they'd do different things. Ultimately, Raditz would come along and kill them all, though,
yeah, Raditz
or at least
Raditz
he
would
didn't have
be.
to.
I would see I see the Raditz thing still happen normally, and when it came down to the end of Dragon Ball, because let's see, Earth killed in the past were resurrected in Dragon Ball Classic. I imagine he means the King Piccolo saga. You know, everybody killed by King Piccolo at any time. That would be the logistics.
That comes later, I think. I think there's another what if about that.
Okay, but
Is there?
as far as them being resurrected in Dragon Ball Classic, by the time Z comes around, they're being trained by literal God. So
Yeah.
so I don't see like okay, let them be masters and mentors of any future Z Warriors. I could see new faces show up from these masters who are adept, but other than that, I don't think Z would change in any way.
Well, I think Z would, um, because of the fighters at the tournaments. There'd be a lot more
Oh yeah,
key available fighters.
Yasha might
Mister
not
Say
make it in.
Hercule
Yeah.
might even have learned something because his master may or may not have died. The great heroes, I assume that includes Master Mutaito.
Yeah, Mutaito
Mutaito.
would be there.
He wouldn't have died, or he would have come back. He would have gone and found that Master Shen, the
The Crane Hermit was
yeah,
being very dishonorable.
yeah, and
Very dishonorable.
told him where to go or done something about it. Um, so yeah, that would probably change all that. Then if Tao Pai Pai doesn't end up killing Hercule's father or master or whatever it was,
Well, resurrected in
um,
Dragon Ball Classic, maybe Chaozu wouldn't get hurt as badly from Tao Pai Pai during the tournament. You know, like it could probably change that.
yeah.
Hmm.
So as I said, just the basic butterfly effect of all this happening, depending on
Yeah.
when it happened, would probably change everything anyway.
Yeah.
Unless they all come back to life and go, "Oh, that's nice," and wander off into the netherworld and never get seen or heard from again.
Okay.
In which case, nothing would change.
I could see that. All right. Yeah, you sold me on it. All right, so what if the Z Warriors really were heroes and decided to free the other planets in the galaxy from tyrants and villains such as the Frieza army? So an intergalactic, what I have, the Chiku Force, and if they did, they'd probably join the Galactic Patrol.
They join the Galactic Patrol, yeah. Well,
Exactly.
they eventually run across the Galactic Patrol,
Yeah.
and the Galactic Patrol is like, "Oh my God, you guys are amazing!" and scoops them all up, and
And
Space Rangers are go.
if they have scouter technology and they see all these humans just sensing energy, like how are you doing that? What in the world did you do on Earth to learn how to sense energy without a device? What is wrong with you? Like they would probably go to Earth so they could learn this. Like there's
Yeah,
reason for them to go to Earth.
yeah.
Not to mention Bulma has connections.
Mm-hmm.
So they would probably join the Galactic Patrol.
Actually, isn't what's his name? Jocko?
Yeah, Jocko.
Wasn't he and Tights friends or something in
Yeah,
some new
he and
manga that came out?
Tights. Yeah, he and Tights were, from what I understand, I haven't read the manga. I know it
Neither,
exists,
neither. Yeah.
but from my understanding is Jocko knew Tights ever since she was little, and it was thanks to Jocko and his knowledge of space technology that got Tights into it, and that's why Capsule Corp went that direction after making the Hoi Koi capsule.
Oh yeah. It wasn't Jocko the one who caused Goku's bump on the head or something?
I don't
I can't
know.
remember.
I couldn't answer that one. Although, like, even
Yeah.
if I could, I still would probably be the stubborn one and be like, "No, it was an accident. That just makes us like the character better."
Hmm. I guess
uh,
Jocko's been gone since way back though, so he wouldn't have learned about
yeah,
all the other
Jocko's
people and all the
Jocko's
other power sensitivity.
been there a while because of Tights, and because
He's
he
been
has
there the whole time, or has he been bouncing back and forth?
he's been bouncing back and forth from Earth. Like whenever Tights would call him and he's got some time, he'd be like, "All right, yeah, I'll come on by and see what's going on
Yeah.
down there, as long as you've got a good meal or something." Because let's face it, space grub is not as good as Earth food. You know, like
Yeah, for some reason, yeah. There's nobody can cook a
nobody
nice
can
bit of
make
sushi.
a good. I mean, like even that one civilization could only save half their planet. You know, like so.
Yeah.
All right, so
But then wouldn't Jocko know about all these fighters already and how they can sense energy if he's coming back and forth?
that's the thing, because Tights was out of it for so long. Like Tights would have stories from,
Hmm.
like to tell Bulma, or Bulma.
Yeah.
Bulma would tell her stories, but Jocko never really met anyone until Frieza's invasion.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yep. What if Majin Buu totally absorbed all human Z warriors and not the others, as in canonical? Buu would
So
die.
not Trunks and not Piccolo. Yeah, Gohan kills them all. He has to deal with that on his conscience until he finds the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
Goku and Vegeta stay dead because Gohan won. Beerus might not wake up because you're missing two quote unquote pure-hearted Saiyans. Not that Vegeta was particularly pure-hearted at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could probably twist it to get Broly and Tarbell into it. Although, who knows how pure-hearted Tarbell is, because we don't really know much about him.
We really don't. I mean, I'm glad I built Tarbell the way he is, but I'll go ahead and say this for the video. I built Tarbell to be the way that he is in my What If female Vegeta, or with female Vegeta. So,
well, that kind of works, though, because you've had the female Vegeta who's not the prince.
Yeah.
So the focus is much more on Tarbell, and his whole life would have shifted in some way.
Yeah, so when it comes down to the canon Tarbell, A, is he real because he's kind of been retconned by Kaba, and B, as far as Broly is concerned...
I would totally want him to be the Super Saiyan God, because that's a great combination.
Yeah, I'm sure if, I'm sure Whis
especially when he starts losing.
Whis would have been like, well, there was an outburst on this planet, he could be the Super Saiyan God. And then Beerus and Whis would go to Vampa, and Beerus would just be like, oh my god, this guy is really powerful, he must be a Super Saiyan God, not knowing what a legendary Super Saiyan is, because Broly was able to keep up with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So I could see something stem from that in which Whis introduces the people that are still on... Well, actually, Whis wouldn't even go to Earth at that point.
Yeah.
So that
but does Beerus know that his hair should be red and all that sort of stuff?
No, all he's heard was the legend of the Super Saiyan God. He doesn't know what it looks like at that point.
He had a dream about it, didn't he? The Oracle Fish told him or something, and then he had a dream to back it up, I thought.
True. Okay, I might have to look more into that one, but that would be, as far as Majin Buu totally absorbed all human warriors, Buu would die. All right, there would be no Buu. Yeah, but as far as the ramifications after that is kind of interesting.
Yeah, like I said, Goku and Vegeta would probably stay dead.
Yeah, they would probably stay dead.
Gohan's proved himself.
Yeah, Gohan's there, plus the kids are there because Gotenks is a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an interesting concept to look at.
Ruin Gohan's day.
Yeah, Boo with the Destructo disc, or a Destruct2 disc cacao.
Tri-beam.
I had to read. Oh God.
Eco die, Gohan.
Go away, boom. Go away, boom. Go away, boom.
Yeah. So maybe he wouldn't die.
Yeah. It's possible.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
I think just power-wise, though, he just wouldn't be there.
Yeah, and plus, if he would absorb the humans, why wouldn't he absorb the Saiyans and the Namekians? So,
exactly.
Exactly. There's no legitimacy in it, but it is a fun thought.
As opposed to absorbing the androids, which I did in the last time travel one.
Ooh.
That was fun.
I gotta catch up with that one.
Yeah. Infinite Energy Engine Boo.
Oh wow! As if his power wasn't limitless enough.
Yeah.
What if Gohan married Erasa? I really doubt anything would change. I mean, it's just a new human.
Yeah. I mean, given how they treated Videl in Super, nothing would change, really.
Yeah, I mean...
she's just a side character who happens to be able to fly and have a rich dad.
The only thing I would see change is that it would take longer for her to learn how to fly, and getting her into fighting to begin with.
Would she even care? Would she want to?
I doubt she would. I mean, I would. We didn't really get used to Erasa very often, and that's actually a what if that's been on my mind. Like, I need to go back and see the episodes where Erasa was. But it's like I don't see it be very different because Gohan's still marrying a human. It's still there.
Yeah. Question: when presumably they have Pan, how do you tell when Pan's gone Super Saiyan? If her mom is a red?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't
I'm
know.
gonna run into that trouble with Marble in the time travel one as well because she's blonde. So
Woo. Which, by the way, kudos on the pictures that you do recolor. They've gotten a lot better as you've been doing videos. I was just like, wow, there's improvement.
finding better sources.
Yep. What if Krillin never married number 18? The Cheeky Force. Krillin's single in my what if Jace would turn good because 18
All right.
died.
Oh no, I haven't actually watched that one. I'll need to work my way through it.
So
All right.
yeah, that's like when Krillin never married 18. As far as canon, he would be a single cop. As far as my what if, he would be a single soldier for the Cheeky Force. So that's
Oh, fair enough.
that's what I
Um,
see happen.
yeah. Barring as a standalone what if they didn't get married, obviously there'd be no Marin.
Yeah.
18 would probably not show up at the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, I think it is, with the
She
whole
wouldn't.
Boo saga.
She wouldn't, and Krillin would just go help.
Mr. Satan would probably win, totally legit. So yeah,
Yeah, there you
for
go.
him.
Good job, world champion.
Yeah, yeah. Tournament of Power would have probably neither of them. So guess who wins?
Well, then you'd have to think about who would replace 18.
Oh God, probably Yamcha.
Maybe Yamcha would get his.
Like replace 17.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a fun thing to have Yamcha there. The other thing I would suggest is if Goku had the thought about Frieza, maybe he would have the thought about Cell. Which also brings a question, like,
Sure.
we've seen Cell dead with a halo on his head. How did
Yeah,
Jiro do that?
well,
Jiro,
he's an organic thing that grew from
yeah, but
presumably a single cell.
that doesn't mean you make a soul. I mean, like.
Well, I suppose that depends on one's definition of a soul and whether or not people actually have them.
Exactly.
Um, but he's an organic being grown from scratch. So, like any other organic being grown from scratch, aka you and me,
Mm.
when he achieved the ability to think, he could think and had a soul, quote unquote, whatever that may be. But
Yeah.
I think Jiren would win that because there's
Mm-hmm.
no one else quite that level. I guess if you bring Cell in with his regeneration and
Unless they
stuff,
do another MacGuffin where somehow, for some reason, Ultra Instinct comes back.
well, they would have to
Yeah.
in order to make a win. But sticking to what happened in the actual series,
Yeah.
Jiren makes a selfish wish, and Zeno kills everyone. Or he doesn't kill them; he wipes them out from existence
Huh.
because Jiren was selfish.
Yeah. Jiren would have been selfish, and everybody would die. So, oh well.
Yeah. Well, bringing Cell in would probably fix it all because he's obviously way stronger than even
And he's an
17 was.
android, so he's got to have something from Android 17 and 18, like the Infinite Engines.
Oh, he's got two infinite engines, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you consider both androids, yeah. As far
Yeah.
as his perfect form.
Yeah. Might even get Golden Cell.
Ooh,
Woohoo.
Golden Cell. Or as
Ultra
Masako
Golden
recently
Cell.
did, Ultra Instinct Cell. As Masako recently did, Bronze Cell in What If
Blonde
Cell
Cell.
Turned
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. What if Bulma got tired of her friend's ignorance and wished the Z Warriors had the same intelligence as her?
Yeah. When would she do that?
Why would she do that? That's her thing. Like, okay, granted, she's got like as far as her friend's ignorance is, as far as her not getting strong, I get that. But she
Yeah.
cemented herself as the smart one, and just
Mm-hmm.
marrying Vegeta keeps her relevant. So
And she's got inventions.
yeah, she has the time machine,
Dragon radar, time machine. Yeah.
the Super Dragon Ball radar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and would it really be fun to watch a show where people think about their problems logically instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
yelling, shouting, and fighting?
This brings up the question for why didn't we use this time chamber? Because
Yeah,
everybody would have
exactly.
thought about that.
Yeah. I know Gohan isn't exactly Bulma level smart, but he's
He's a
protagonist
clever
level
kid.
smart, and he still doesn't really think about things logically.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But I
Yeah,
mean, he's
so
still a clever kid.
yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
I don't think it would be much fun to watch
Nah.
because it'd be quite boring if they all really plan things out. But at the
Yeah.
same time, Bulma doesn't really come up with solutions to a lot of their problems because a lot of the problems are how much harder do I need to punch him?
Hmm.
So, you know,
Yep. What if Sorcerer Bobbity turned all the evil Terrans into Majins? I think you might have a bit more knowledge if you know what a Terran is.
it's a human.
Oh, okay. That's what
Yeah,
he means by
Terrans. You
Terran.
know, like Star Trek, Terrans.
Oh, because okay.
People from Terra.
Yeah, I get it. I get it
Yeah,
now. I saw that and I was
that
like,
would
what the
that
heck
would
is a
that would
Terran?
include all the animals and stuff that are anthropomorphized,
Into
like hidden
Majins.
dogs and all that sort of stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's basically a Spopovich by any other name is still a Spopovich,
Okay.
or in this case, fodder.
So the Blackwater
So
Mist?
basically, but only for the evil ones.
Yeah, only evil ones that forever serve Bobbity, just like the Blackwater Mist makes everybody serve Garlic Jr. So I imagine.
But the margins get stronger.
Yep.
So like Spopovich and Yamu, they were normal people ish,
Yeah,
relatively normal.
they were.
But they were still just fodder. So for the Z fighters, as they are, not a whole lot. Everyone else obviously dies, just like they do anyway, because Boo kills them all. So yeah, not a whole lot.
Yeah, that there wouldn't be a whole lot there. The only thing I would see is like if you're saying Terrans as in specifically humans and Earthlings, not just people who live on Earth.
Anyone
Um,
natively born and raised and
then
genetically tied to
then the
Earth.
Saiyans would be put on the back foot, not wanting to kill their friends, and they would
Yeah,
have to find a way to kill Babidi and everyone else without killing every human, unless they preserve the Dragon Balls. That's just it, you know. And without Bulma's technology, everything would probably be screwed at that point.
one small problem there.
Mm.
When they wished back everyone killed by Cell, did they wish back only the good ones killed by Cell?
I don't think I don't think they specified good ones. I think they just specified anyone killed by Cell.
All right.
Because
Okay.
if you think about it, 17 was not good by that point. I mean, yeah, he was starting to turn, but he was not good.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. So moving on then. We still have a couple of minutes. What if all the surviving Saiyajins were females? Oh God. Okay,
Does that include Goku?
I've already established. Okay, so if I established way back before Z, before Dragon Ball, or on the
Mm-hmm.
timeline, I've already established the reason why Tarball's around is because Vegeta's a female. So Tarball would also be female. Does that mean both of them would be around?
I guess it depends on how you affect their personalities and history. Because if
Mm,
they were all women, if Vegeta was a woman, Tarbell was a woman, Raditz was a woman, Nappa was a woman, and Goku was a woman, and Broly was a woman, and Paragus was a woman, um, then I think
oh
their
God.
whole personalities and stuff would probably kind of go, if they're assuming their personalities are the same, their history
Yeah.
would basically be the same once King Vegeta dies, and he dies when Vegeta's quite young.
Hmm.
So I don't think a whole lot would change.
All right. I don't think
If
a
that,
whole
if
lot
that
would
children,
change.
obviously.
I would say that Goku wouldn't get with Chi Chi though. Like as far as
Well,
before Dragon Ball,
I,
I could honestly, and this is me throwing it out there. I know that Masako did What If Goku Was Born Female. Um,
yeah, Krillin, I think.
yeah, he got with Krillin, or she got with Krillin, I should say. But I could see, because we're talking like legitimate Saiyan biology, I could see
Mm-hmm.
Goku get with Tien or try to work that out.
Yeah, I don't think Tien cares about that kind of thing, but okay.
Either way, the Breakfast Club of Combat would be a thing.
Yep.
The female Vegeta, and I'm going to say also female Tarble, probably would be a
Yep.
thing. That the timeline that I suggested would probably go forward as far as
Hmm.
that's concerned. Raditz would
I
still
think it would
die.
be as it is.
Yep, and yeah, the only physical improvement I would say is that we would have Zarya in the form of Nappa.
Zarya?
Zarya
Is
from
that?
Overwatch.
Oh, I haven't played
That would.
Overwatch, so
Oh yeah. If you got the time, Google Zarya for a second. You'll see what I mean. Like Nappa would totally have that physique.
yeah, fair enough. And a whole lot more Rule 34, huh?
Yeah, a whole lot more. You kidding? Oh man, when you were saying the thing earlier, I had thought, oh god, with Gohan being the only male like Saiyan hybrid at the time, I could see a very disturbing harem anime go on.
Moving on.
Oh god, poor Gohan. Here we go. All right. So what if Piccolo Jr. wanted to be the new Earth King?
Didn't he want to be the king anyway?
Yeah, he wanted to
Because
at one point.
he's literally Piccolo.
Yeah, he wanted to at one point, but I'm guessing that he means like, okay, after the world tournament, what if he just decided during that time skip, like, okay, you know what? I'm powerful enough. I'm on par with Goku. Let's get a little bit more powerful and then try to take over the world. And just try to go for it. You know, like he would be
So kind of like what if Piccolo stayed evil?
Yeah, what if Piccolo stayed evil?
Yeah. I'm actually working on a what if Piccolo stayed evil with someone, a YouTube guy,
Ooh.
commented on one of my previous videos.
Ooh.
So obviously, brainwashing Gohan and all that sort of stuff.
There we go. Check out KaizanBall's channel for that one.
Well, the guy who suggested it wanted to collaborate on it, and I've messaged him on fanfic.net or .com, whichever it is. And he hasn't got back to me yet. So it is sitting there with what I've got, and I'm waiting for him to give some input before I go forward.
All right.
But I was gonna do a weird loop with everything going horribly wrong, and then future Gohan coming back and trying to fix things, but he's been brainwashed by Piccolo, so it's not quite working out.
Future Gohan.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right. What if the human Z Warriors never looked good after being defeated by Goku? I'm guessing never turned good as opposed to looked good.
Oh, okay. I went actually with literal looked good.
Yeah.
So first off, that's weird and cruel, and secondly, Dragon Balls are a thing, guy. So
yeah.
But never turned good. Oh god. So who do we start with?
Well, Tien Shinhan is the obvious choice from what I can see.
Was Yamcha ever bad?
Yamcha was a desert bandit. I don't want to say that he was bad. I want to say that he was just doing that to survive.
Yeah, there's better ways to survive.
Yeah.
Well, what do I know? I live in a first world country, so what do they say? But yeah, so Ten Shinhan would stay bad. He and Chaozu would stay bad. He probably wouldn't be honorable in his match with Goku. And wait, did he win that or did he lose that?
He won that by a hair. He wouldn't have had he probably would have carried the match to the end because Chaozu was helping freeze Goku from the sideline. So he probably would have beaten Goku. And before Goku died, because he's the main character and all that, I could see Yamcha and Krillin not Yamcha because he got a broken leg by that point. Krillin run in to try to defend Goku. Like, this needs to stop. You don't need to. Don't kill him.
He doesn't really have.
Yeah.
That's a valid point. But then wouldn't King Piccolo come along and kill them because he tried to kill all the strong people?
Yeah, he would, and Tien Shinhan wouldn't be he wouldn't have taken Roshi's advice seriously, and he would have stayed evil.
And they wouldn't have wished Chaozu back.
No.
If King Piccolo killed Tien as well, then he obviously wouldn't be wished back because he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So Piccolo himself would never have turned good. So then we end up with a situation where he tries to kill Raditz and Goku, and then kidnaps Gohan to turn him into a nice little minion. Mm-hmm.
Things would go from there without Tien and Chaozu around.
Yeah, no, the whole Nappa fight would be shorter and sweeter.
I could see
So
Krillin
yeah, not
die. I could see
yep.
Gohan die because, let's face it,
Hmm.
Piccolo wouldn't be around. Uh,
Yeah,
things would be really bad by the time Goku showed up.
yeah, and obviously with no Gohan around because he either hasn't been trained or has been brainwashed,
Hmm.
and so is evil. And with no Krillin around, there's no one to pass the spirit bomb to. So Vegeta doesn't get whacked with it. Yajirobe may not even be around because Nappa probably.
No, Yajirobe would have to be on the front. You know, like he would probably not be hiding as often as he was
Oh,
in.
so that won't go well.
Yeah, that will not go well for a lot of people. But on the plus side, with Piccolo not being involved in the Saiyan battle, Kami doesn't die,
Yeah.
so they would have Dragon Balls. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the only thing
And
that
they
I
don't care
see.
about Chaozu anymore, so they don't need to go to Namek to get those with that wish there.
Hmm.
So Frieza becomes immortal and takes over the universe.
Yep. So that's another that's another nuke scenario. I'm gonna call them
Yeah, yeah.
tactical nuke. Tactical nuke launch. It's over.
A slow burn. Everybody gets there eventually.
Yep. What is it? What if Dr. Gero tricked and lured the human Z Warriors into a trap to turn them into androids?
So Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, and Chaozu are all Super Saiyan powered humans now.
Yeah.
What about Bulma? Is she technically a Z fighter?
I think Bulma would be the bait for like Yamcha and Krillin.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Tien and Chaozu. I think if Gero
Are they
would
human?
have a method here. I could
Yeah.
see him kidnap Bulma, causing Yamcha
Mm-hmm.
to come to the rescue, and then Android Yamcha would call Krillin in. Krillin would get trapped, and then
Mm-hmm.
after that, they would go after Chaozu, and Tien would just have no idea what they're doing until they grab Chaozu's arms and fly away with him. Tien gives
So do they?
chase.
Yeah.
You
Do
know,
they all stay bad, or do they somehow become good? Like, does he
I
turn
imagine
Bulma into an android as well? Because then she'll probably be bad, but not want to be under Jiro's control.
I
Fix herself.
imagine like they
The
would
other way.
play bad until they got used to their programming because I imagine 18 and 17 didn't have to go on the proverbial shelf for a long time. They just had as soon as they started showing signs of this, that's when Jiro put them away. So I imagine at
Yeah.
first they would have to just come to grips with who they are, and
Yeah.
then after they come to grips with who they are, I mean, that's it. They can turn on Giro just like 17 and 18 did. Or Giro would put them in pods and be like, okay, let's go forward with the 19 plan. And then find, well, then, then they'll end up being found. Like, this is why they
Yeah.
weren't here to help the androids. What the heck?
Yeah. Okay. So when does this happen? Does this happen like after Mecha Frieza or before that?
I imagine, like, after Mecha Frieza,
Mm-hmm.
during that time skip, that's when Jiro would lay the traps, turn them into
Yeah.
androids, and then Goku, Gohan, Piccolo, not Vegeta yet, would show up to fight 19 and 20 because Jiro would be like, okay, well it's not a victory. These androids needed to be stayed in the pods until I could work on them longer. So these androids are going to stay in the pods. We've got 21, 22, 23, and 24. Take your pick. Take your pick as to who those numbers are. And when it came down to Giro being cornered, that whole battle would happen. When it comes down to Giro being cornered by the likes of Vegeta, Future Trunks, Gohan, and not Goku because he had to go. The idiot didn't take his medicine. Um, then as 17 and 18 was waking up, the Z Warriors would wake up, they would realize who they are, they would know who 17 and 18 is. Maybe they'd be able to do some diplomacy here and be like, actually these guys are really cool, we could all hang out, we can discover these powers together, but something tells me that 17 and 18 wouldn't see the same way, and therefore you would have 4 androids versus 3 if you consider 16.
Yeah. So I have another question here. If Bulma is kidnapped and or turned into an android or killed because she no longer serves any purpose, what's Vegeta doing? He's not hanging around done with her. Does he bother staying, or does he leave to go into space? Does he?
Well, he would still do the space trip, but I don't think I think Trunks would be born later. Trunks' power level may even or at all. Yeah, I mean.
So is this the original timeline, which turns into future Trunks, or is this the TV show timeline that doesn't?
Ooh, if we go by the future timeline, 17 and 18 have pretty much like betray Zero outright, so the human Z Warriors would stay in their pods. You know,
Yeah.
like if the pod suggestion were to stay there. If we're talking the canon timeline, let's play with that. Let's say Bulma's an android. Well, if Bulma's an android, Bulma would be like, "Honey, how about this? Let's go on a date, and then if you're good during the date, I'll do some training with you." And then that would get Vegeta out more.
Or he'd use Android Bulma to capture Vegeta as well, which I think I've done as. Yeah, no, I did that in the original one.
So
but
if we
this
changed the human Z Warriors into just the Z Warriors, that would
if
just be a
Bulma was
movie.
made into it as well, then she would obviously rope Vegeta in and try and capture him, and they're all already Super Saiyan level before Vegeta is a Super Saiyan, so he gets captured. He gets turned into an android, and well, we're back to the android or we're back to the Saiyan with an infinite energy engine thing, assuming that he goes back with them. The big problem here is that he makes all these people before he makes Cell, and Cell is going to use 17 and 18. But is he then going to include Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, Chaozu, maybe Bulma, and maybe even Vegeta in the whole mix? So Cell's got what we call a target-rich environment.
Oh yes, there's plenty for him to enjoy.
Yes, the increasingly ultimate Cell wrecks the multiverse.
17 and 18 would still be his priority, but the thought of all these fighters just together.
Would Jiro build Cell originally to make use of just 17 and 18, or seeing as he's got all these fighters together, he would build him maybe to absorb them all?
I know that Imperfect Cell would probably be a lot more powerful because he would have all of the different data from the different fighters he's captured.
Yeah. And what do you call Imperfect Cell? There's so many more degrees here.
Well, you see, I go Imperfect Cell,
and Perfect Cell, right?
Yeah.
And Super Perfect Cell, because reasons. But now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people to absorb, maybe.
He's definitely got targets.
Yeah. So I think Perfect Cell would show up a lot sooner if it was he just needed 2 to absorb. And then obviously that would be much faster, and Vegeta would die because Perfect Cell would probably kill him. But ultimately, if he absorbs all 7 of them, I think Cell would be a bit of a beast.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack on that one.
Yeah, none of it good.
All right, so let's see what. Okay, I was about to read the same one again. What would happen if DB Super enters the DB Multiverse? I don't know what DB Multiverse is.
I think it's a manga or manga rather, where like all these possible different timelines.
Oh, so a what if tournament?
And basically a what if tournament. It is so convoluted from what little I have seen of it. I think Mondo Cool covers it quite a lot.
Okay.
So like lots of stuff happens, but I can barely keep track of it.
I would say this. I guess with that definition, I think our canon timeline would win because of one thing: God Key.
Yeah, I don't think Super Saiyan 4 would.
I don't
think
Super
Saiyan
4 holds a candle to Super Saiyan Blue.
Even if you assume that Super Saiyan 4 scales to ultimate unlocked stuff, which I think some people think it does. I don't really know what it does, but assume it scales that way. God Ki, Kaioken, God Ki, and all that sort of stuff. Super Saiyan Blue evolution, whatnot. That would win outright anyway. So yeah, I think they'd win.
Yeah. Okay.
And
that would be what we would think happen is our canon timeline would win pretty much outright because they have God Key.
Yeah.
All right. So what if Mr. Popo was a Z warrior? Vegeta, Piccolo and Gohan wouldn't die. Popo would stand in the way and eat Nappa's Bomba DX.
How strong is Popo?
Well, he was okay.
Right?
I don't know what Popo. I'm pretty sure that's one of the entities that nobody understands.
This isn't Dragon Ball Z abridged, so
Yeah. So
I think somebody has actually done What If Popo Was a Z Fighter.
Has someone done
Dragon
that?
Star Productions, was it?
Oh, Dragon Star has done that.
Yeah, he's the guy. I think he's the guy who did What If Chi-Chi Died in Childbirth. It's a bit morbid, but it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
On the plus side, though, the magic carpet the Popo rides come in real handy because you can just boop, boop, between 2 points. Yep. Hopefully they limit him to only being able to go to places that he's been before. Because otherwise, where's the Dragon Ball? There it is. Oh, here's the Dragon Ball. Let's go to Namek. All right, here we are at Namek. Although we don't really know what the range of the magic carpet is. But yeah, so I think that's a complex one to figure out.
One. I just Googled it, and it says, well, according to the Dragon Ball wiki, I don't know how accurate that is, Popo has a power level of 300, according to a 1989 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. Mr. Popo's power level during the Saiyan Saga is 1030. So if he was a Z fighter starting at 1000, he probably would catch up with at least Nappa.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right about Dragon Star going over that as well.
Mm-hmm. I haven't actually read that or listened to that one, so I just saw it in the list of ones he'd done.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, no, I think the magic carpet would be pretty handy.
That would be handy, especially like getting Goku. I don't know if magic carpet's faster than the Nimbus Cloud.
The magic carpet's instant.
Oh, so
isn't it?
Well,
because when Bulma climbed, I don't know if that was DBZA or not, but when Bulma climbed out of the hospital window onto the magic carpet, he vanished and appeared in Yanzabet Heights.
Yep.
Yanzabet Heights, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's instant transmission type of speed.
Well, that is hilarious. Really, really, really close to instant. So yeah, it probably is faster than the Nimbus Cloud. So Goku would get there sooner, and Piccolo wouldn't die.
Yeah. Also on Namek, should they ever actually need to go to Namek, it wouldn't take days and days to get from A to B. Collecting the Dragon Balls, you'd just be popping around the place, assuming that he's not limited to go places that he's been before.
But then that also begs the question: how long has Frieza been on Namek by the time they show up?
True. Yeah. That's actually one of the problems I'm facing in What If Vegeta Spared Nappa?
Ooh.
Because there's no way he could have the 2 weeks in the pod and then the 2 weeks on Namek to go through all his soul searching and all that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. Because he left Frieza Planet 79, which is quoted as being 4 days away from Namek. And presumably Frieza left from there as well, though we don't actually know that. But if they took the magic carpet to Namek, which I don't think could happen, but if they did, that takes off, 5 weeks off their trip? So they should be there well ahead of Frieza. They do their stuff, they make their wish, they go home, and the Nameks all die. Because Frieza shows up and kills them all.
Oh.
So, yeah, that'll have repercussions later on when Majin Buu shows up, kills everyone, and they need to revive a certain person. But there's no Namek, so they can't. Yeah. And there's no Dende either. So,
So by the time of the Buu saga, it would be very, very slim of a win if they try to get a win off it.
Yeah, no, I think they'd be down a few. Well, no, as of the Cell arc, they wouldn't have any Dragon Balls. because they fused the Dragon Balls Go. They can't get Dende because they got Dende well after they fused. So Dende would be dead because Frieza would probably kill them all. He wouldn't want anyone else wishing on the Dragon Balls. So as of Cell Arc, there's no Dragon Ball.
Which, I mean, then that would just be another future saga.
Yeah.
Bulma working on the time machine, trying to fix everything.
Only with Boo this time instead of the androids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Piling up.
I mean, we're getting good conversations out of it. I'm not complaining. What if Yamcha was a girl?
I know somebody's done that. I can't remember who.
I saw that. I did out of curiosity Google it, and then that result came up.
Yeah. My question though is, does she have trouble speaking to boys? Because
Yeah.
Goku at that time had an interesting habit involving men and women. So when Goku invariably goes to do his little pat on Yamcha, his head will explode. Or he'll bleed out from the nose or whatever women do.
That's hilarious to think about. It really is. Okay, so let's assume that Yamcha does have that thing when it comes down to the opposite sex.
Yeah, so there's no Goku, right, obviously.
So when fighting Goku, Yamcha would be like, she would be on the back foot. Like, she wouldn't want him to get close.
She wouldn't even raise a fist to him. She would not raise a fist to him because it's a boy. What do I do? So, does he try to see Goku naked in the shower?
Why is this on the Dragon Ball Z list?
Oh, Japan and your wacky humor.
Yeah. So, let's say somehow Yamcha gets through it. And let's say, she meets Bulma. Kind of the same thing how I did with the whole gal pal thing with Krillin being born female, with Quillin being best friends with Bulma. I could see Yamcha and Bulma be best friends in this.
Yeah, no, definitely. She'd sort of adopt her.
Yeah, and
as a friend.
As she was hanging around Bulma, she would get used to the idea of boys because she would be hanging out with Goku, and unfortunately, Oolong would have 2 targets as opposed to 1.
He wants the Yamcha's. There's a thought for you.
Oh god.
Maybe Krillin hooks up with Yamcha then.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Or Goku could.
Well,
Chi-Chi versus Yamcha. Fight for his love.
Chi-Chi versus Yamcha at the World Tournament. I mean, would Goku fight Tao, or no, not Tao Pai Pai. Goku would fight Hero?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it would just be a test of power, and of course Goku would catch on and be like, just trust me, I got him. Oh, okay. But as far as Z is concerned, going into it, Yamcha and Krillin would have a family by then. I like that thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would that mean that they would be less involved and they wouldn't train as much and they would be more happy families?
Two people that trained under Master Roshi and Korin and getting into Z and Kami, I would think their kid would be into martial arts as well because both parents were. If both, it's just a habitual sort of raising your kids at that point. Like if the kids see that both parents are into this, the kid would be interested in trying it.
How old? By the way. How old is Krillin? Is he the same age as Goku?
Krillin is roughly the same age. I think Krillin is just a year older.
Mm-hmm. So, Yamcha and Krillin's kid versus Gohan would be, 5 years older? 4 years older? Same age?
Something like that. About the same age. Maybe I would say probably, let's see, Gohan's 6 in the Saiyan saga?
I think he's 5 or 4 in the Raditz arc.
In the Raditz saga, so he would be about 5 in the Saiyan saga. I would say Krillin and Yamcha's kid in this case would probably be, because I have to say in this case, just saying Krillin and Yamcha's kid just sounds something we don't want to go down. What if Yamcha...
They could adopt.
Yeah, they could. Even though I don't want to think about it. I just see Krillin and Yamcha being like the best of friends. I don't want it to be further than that.
Gohan, a playmate, if
Yeah,
Krillin and Yamcha had a kid.
maybe a 7 or 8 year old. I would say.
Brother, big sister, or whatever.
Yeah, they'd probably have a few years on Goku and Chi Chi's relationship.
Yeah.
Yep. So okay, what if Vegeta and Tarbell were twins? I mean,
What kind of twins?
like if we're talking, oh yeah, what kind of twins?
If they're identical twins,
Yeah.
so Tarbell is. Well, actually, it depends on what kind of on who is the identical twin. If they're identical twins of Vegeta, nothing good will come of that
Nothing.
because you'll probably get to end up with two Vegetas on Earth, or Frieza would kill them.
I am the Prince of all Saiyans. No, I am the Prince of all Saiyans. No, I am the Prince of all Saiyans.
Imagine them fusing.
Oh God.
We are the Prince of all Saiyans. On the other hand, identical twins of Tarbell, Immortal Frieza rules the universe probably because there's no one around to stop him.
Yeah, Tarbell wouldn't have the balls to do it.
If they're not identical twins, nothing really changes because Tarbell's a weakling and Vegeta's a strong one, so he'll become the prince.
Well, here's the thought: if let's say they were identical twins of Tarbell, they have with the same power level and all that, wouldn't Tarbell and Vegeta be sent off planet because they were weak and therefore the Saiyan Saga wouldn't be a thing?
But then King Vegeta would be like, "Oh God, I need to try again," and he keeps trying and trying until he gets an appropriate child.
Until he gets a son that isn't pathetic at his power level.
Yeah, actually, I've got a what if that was suggested by who was it suggested by? A guy called Dragon Slayer, saying what if Goku and Vegeta were switched places, which I took at sort of what if they were switched at birth. So Goku was born in Vegeta to King Vegeta, and Vegeta was born to Bardock and Guinea. And sort of that way, because then if the character that is Goku was born to the king, he'd be like, well, he's got a power level.
What have you done?
So try again,
Yeah, I can.
And then obviously, his younger brother would be this all-around powerhouse who might get the Broly treatment because he's so much stronger than the king's progeny.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting one. Working through it slowly.
Yeah, that is interesting.
There's definite options there, depending on which kind of twin they are.
Yeah, it all depends.
Yeah.
All right, so last one for this video. What if Tarbell was shipped to Land 2?
I mean, can he live on water?
I mean,
or can he breathe in?
Shipped to Land?
I'm not sure. I'm assuming he means went to Earth too.
Yeah.
So, and the guy has done that already. UBX12, 123, sorry.
Yeah.
I did that. I haven't watched it, so I don't know what happens. But basically, we'll assume they're both in their pods, landing around the same place. They both meet Gohan, Grandpa Gohan. They both get raised normally. They both look at the full moon. That would be very interesting. I'm sure Gohan would.
Gohan survive, though. I mean, like, you have two Ozaru, sure, but the two Ozaru...
They're fighting each other.
Yeah, they have each other to fight against.
They're actively fighting each other. They're going to be stomping around and laser beams and mouth beams and smashing this and smashing that. I think Gohan will die. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So, and they would grow up together. I imagine with the royal blood, Tarbell would kind of understand the Ozaru a little better. And
he might actually control it.
He might. I
don't know if that's
I wouldn't say
control it, but
I wouldn't say control it. Because if we're going to go by that, Grandpa Gohan finds both of them, does Tarbell get his head hit? Like that would be the question. Would Tarbell have the same treatment as Goku, or would he not?
In what was the movie? Son Goku and Friends or something. Tarbell seemed pretty mellow when he showed up. So would he need a head bump?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
he's pretty mellow because he's been fighting Frieza's forces on this planet that he got a wife on for the longest, and he's just like, I need help.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
You know, he's had his
Yeah.
journey off screen, so you know he's pretty mellow at
Yeah.
that point. But as far as early on, would Tarble be like? Would Goku land on like? Goku would hit his head, and just like
Mhm.
Goku does, would his kind nature rub off on Tarble? Would be the question.
Yeah. Yeah. Or would Gohan's kind nature rub off on them both,
Yeah, well,
or at least Tarble? So to
after the
reinforce it.
headbang, I imagine it would for Goku, but Tarble would still be a trouble child at that point. And then
Mhm.
eventually, you know, Grandpa Gohan would die. Tarble would have to deal with Kakarot
Mhm.
if he's gonna know.
Is he older?
I don't know if he would know Goku's Saiyan name, but that brings up a question on that one. Would they find out their Saiyan names? And what would Tarble be named from Grandpa Gohan?
When was Tarble born? Is he the same age as Goku? Or
He is 2 years younger than Vegeta, and Goku is, I think, 4 or 5
like 3?
years younger than Vegeta.
Mhm.
So Tarble's got a couple years on Goku, but as far as Tarble would land first.
Yeah. Yeah, he would.
Tarble would land
So,
first.
yeah, that's a thought.
Ooh.
So then does Gohan find him, or does Tarble land somewhere else because the Earth would be in a different position and it would have a different place for the pod to land on?
I think if you want to go down this path, I don't mind, but we might have a collaborative video from that question.
Yeah,
That is,
and it really is completely random as to who Tarble lands by.
yeah, because okay, if he lands, wow,
Yeah, I think that's a bit complex actually.
that is very
There's too many
complex.
starting variables to play with.
Yeah,
Well, one starting variable to play with, but it'd probably be easier if he lands somewhere else,
yeah.
but not somewhere bad, and then Tarble can be an antagonist of some point. That oh my god, he's got a tail.
I'd have to look at
We've
the
got a tail. I've
timeline.
got a tail. Yay! We've got tails.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the
Then Tarble,
timeline because like when specifically, no, because they would be years in the future. I was thinking when specifically was 2 years before Dragon Ball, because if King Piccolo was still around, it's horrible landing around when King Piccolo was a thing. That would
uh,
complicate things, but
King Piccolo
that was
was
years
sealed away.
ago.
You
Yeah,
know,
that was
he was sealed by Master Mutaito,
yeah.
and released by Pilaf. When was he released by Pilaf?
He
That was
was
well after
Yeah,
the
that
Dragon Ball
was.
series.
I was thinking initially when King Piccolo was around, but then I thought that Roshi's an old man now, so that would be when Turbo. Yeah,
Yeah, that was at least 200 years ago.
there's a lot of complications on that one.
The landing spot, really.
Yeah, a lot of complications as far as the landing spot. Plus, we don't know a lot about early Tarble. The only reason Tarble's gotten
Yeah.
so much in the female Vegeta is because I've had to build the character, you know. So
I think he would be quite mellow though, because just the way he's portrayed, at least in that one movie,
yeah,
he's quite mellow. He's not
I'll tell you
all
what.
about the fighting.
I'll tell you what. We'll end this video on this question. If you were to go forward with what if Tarble was shipped to land, where would you put him?
In the middle of the ocean, because then he can get shipped to land.
Oh yeah, that way too shipped to
Oh,
land.
Kame House. Kame House. He lands at Kame House. Puts him on Turtle, and he gets shipped to the land.
Yeah, and he would learn from Roshi. Roshi would be powerful enough because Tarble was pathetic at birth. So
Yeah.
I think Roshi would be powerful enough to kind of reel the child in, and then when Goku meets,
Would he want to keep the child? Because this is a little baby. He doesn't want the baby. He's all about the ladies.
Yeah.
Although that said, ladies do like a man with a child.
There you go. Turtle would sell it to him.
What a pervert.
Turtle would sell it to him.
Yeah.
I don't know, Master. I think that you would have better luck with the ladies if you held on to the baby.
That would be good, actually. That would be good.
Yeah. If I had a choice, as far as that's concerned, and this is an odd choice, but this is more like I wanted this race of creatures to be bigger in Dragon Ball. I would put Tarble right in the middle of Girin's race in those mountains.
Well, yeah, true. The Dino people.
Yeah, and then they would see the pod open and they would be surprised that like, hey, check it out, free lunch, and then free lunch ends up
Eating
punching
them.
like eating one of them. And then Giran would probably come around and be like, "Well, ain't you tough, you little pipsqueak? All right, look, this
When
giant
does
pod."
Gideon first show up?
Yeah.
Is he like one of the 22nd or 23rd tournament?
Before the 21st tournament, because we got to think that Tarble is 2 years older than Goku, so he would be sent to Earth sooner.
Yeah.
And his race would like one of the weaker people would probably be like, "Oh yeah, if I bring this home, oh God, I'm being eaten," like that sort of thing would happen. Um, and I could see Tarble survive with their people.
Yeah.
Because of how brutish they are regularly, and Tarble has the same programming at this point. The
Yeah.
the biggest barrier would be the Ozaru. When the Ozaru wakes up, Tarble would naturally be kicked out and just be a wanderer at that point.
Would he be able to control it? Is that a product of training or is that a product of
I
royal
don't
blood?
know. I know the royal blood makes things easier, but I don't think it would. I don't think it would influence Tarble's controlling the Ozaru. But yeah,
Mhm.
so that's where I would put. You said where you'd put. I think this is a good spot. Check out the channel, subscribe for future content, all that good stuff. And we will be going over the classic Dragon Ball questions in the next one. So I want to thank KaizanBall for being here. Um, I'm glad I had a good reason to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning today. Yeah, so thank you all so much for watching. Check out KaizanBall's channel in the description below. He's gotten some really good. I'm glad you've gotten over 100, and I want to throw this out there. Thank you for 600 subscribers on the channel. Yes.
Nice.
All right. So, is there anything you'd like to add for the?
No, I'm good.
All right. So, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao. I'm going to bed for half an hour.